All your friends are regular. Except for you. Engines! Go! Oh! 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 Whoa! The milk jug. You're playing. This is like Rocket League up in the tizzy. Like this. You put it on that wall. And look at that. That is awesome.
I'll definitely be buying some popcorn with that. Thank you very much. And we got a letter from Brennan Wood here, and he sent me a drawing that he made of Tony Stark / Iron Man. It's pretty awesome, Brennan. Very badass. And we got
Alright,
Brennan, we're up.
I use the GameCube
I just use the GameCube.
and then I'm really
oh, I have to drive.
I know, me too.
What GameCube
If I do bad, I'm using the
It's the
same
console that
excuse.
came before this. You can use that and
Where's Yoshi?
it makes me argue way better.
Where's the turning? I don't like this one.
Yeah,
No. I need to get away from there.
I have to
like turn off my phone. Don't turn it off. Just look at this one. Look at fourth. That's amazing. Look at that filter. I know. Look at that. A lot easier than yours. Your stars, you so
Yeah, you do without
because I'm in there.
So weird, especially the obstacle course we had to do with it on. Standing there wasn't so bad. Halo's racing. The walking was pretty horrible. Don't do alcohol, kids. Watch out for that tank. Go, sir. Oh. Episode by Brennan World, and today is day vlog 34, so I'm gonna have to go through this pretty quick because I have quite a lot of stuff to talk about, so I'm going to have to talk pretty quick throughout this episode. So we're just pretty much gonna get right into it. So hopefully you guys liked all the previous episodes, including the Bean Boozled challenge, the first ever challenge video here on Brennan World, and yeah, and just other than that, like the 21 Pilots video, of course, and both the Call of Duty Black Ops 2 videos, and the Minecraft video, and whatever else. So yeah, so if you have not seen those, make sure to just go on my channel and check those out if you want to. Yeah, so just to get started, so on day vlog 33, of course the previous day vlog from this one, a couple weeks ago or whatever, you guys saw that I got this, from the Flick Pick, which is my favorite movie critic or movie YouTuber or whatever you want to call him. But he has 2 channels, and on day vlog 33 I did link both of them in the description. I'm currently subscribed to both of them. It's the Flick Pick and John Flickster. Yeah, so basically on day vlog 33 I just showed that, which if you guys don't know, I actually copied that and cut it out and laminated them together, but that, he actually signed that on the back, and if you can tell there, just to prove it, there's that little like water droplet that got on there and it went through the back. So yeah, so he signed that on the back, but of course since I was going to laminate it and hang it up, I had to copy it so I could have both of them on there. So yeah, so I did that, but that is what I got last time, so that's my favorite thing that he's done for me pretty much so far. As you can see, signed that right there, and on the back he signed that. So yeah, so I got that, but then actually probably the day after, I believe it was, on Instagram, you saw that picture where I put like first, second, and third. The second thing was I posted that on my Instagram and said, like, was just explaining it and everything, and then he actually liked my post on Instagram because I tagged him in it. So he sent me that, then he tagged me, or then he liked my post of it on Instagram. And then third, you saw that little video clip, that was his fan mail, which I've watched a few of his fan mails, but this one, of course, I believe it was released like 2 weeks ago or something like that. But this one, of course, I watched all the way through, even through all the letters and everything, because I sent him fan mail, and if you guys don't know, he actually didn't show the full package on there. But you guys know my two best drawings of all time so far, my Deadpool one right there, and my Iron Man one right there. Yeah, so basically, I copied both of those drawings and sent both of those to him, but the only one he showed on the video was that one. And I also sent him a letter that I actually hand wrote. I didn't type, but it actually filled up I would say about 3/4 of a whole entire printer paper, so that was pretty crazy. But I just sent him it, like, talking about how I love movies too, and like why I love his channel and just whatever else. So yeah, so I sent him that, but of course he didn't read that or anything. But then I sent him a picture of him that I got off Google Images and an extra envelope inside that main envelope, so he could just send it back and wouldn't have to pay or anything. You would just kind of have to put it in there and put it in his mailbox, and there you go. But yeah, so the last thing he did is he put me on his channel onto this. Basically, this is one of my new drawings. I haven't told you guys yet, but we're actually doing this project. I'm doing it with this kid named Logan and my best friend Keaton. And but basically, I won't show you guys that until it's done. But we have until March 30th until we're presenting. But we're pretty much almost already done. But we got like a big old poster board and everything, so I got it like halfway done and all that. But this was one of the things that I drew for the poster board. Of course, I actually copied it and put it on there. But the actual legit drawing I kept in my room just because I'd rather have the real legit drawing than a copied version. That one is copied, but that one looks fine. This one, it still looks fine, just the pencil doesn't copy over as well, but other than that, it still looks pretty much good. But yeah, but it's not my best drawing, but I mean, I drew about half this during school. The other half I drew at my house and shaded it and everything. But yeah, so I just drew, it's from the Man Goldfire, that's the topic we're doing. So I will show the poster board and our whole project once it's all done and everything in a few weeks or so. But basically I just drew the little plane and then 2 smoke jumpers and then one of the main smoke jumpers over there, just kind of overlooking it. And then the little fire right there, which looks pretty good. And then you can see I made the grass look a little more burnt. But it does look pretty 3D all around. Ever since that Deadpool drawing over there, I'm getting like really good at shading and everything. But basically I just put the date that it happened right there. If you don't know what the Man Goldfire is, it's like one of the most disastrous fires Montana's ever had. And it was a team of 18 smoke jumpers, I believe, something like that, or 16 it was, I believe, something like that. But basically it was like 16 or something like that, and then like 13 died and 3 survived or something like that. Yeah, so I really do love the trees that I did. Those look really awesome, and it just really looks good. But yeah, so that is what our topic is, and I just hung that right there. So yeah, so that's one of my new drawings. So that is that, but on to the next thing. Basically, I'll probably just do these first. So these are my new movie posters. You can see, you guys know my movie poster wall. I started it about 3 months ago now or something like that. But I've basically just been adding on to it and updating you guys. But as you can see, this whole bottom section pretty much is new right here, except for like those two right there. But yeah, so basically, where I left you guys off last time on the last day vlog was the lobster right there. That was the last movie poster I had up on the last day vlog. But basically what I added was, I'll tell you guys as I go, but some of these movies, most of these movies were either on Netflix or free on Amazon Prime, like included with Prime, since my family has Amazon Prime, which it's amazing. If you guys don't have it, I definitely recommend it. You get free 2-day shipping on pretty much everything, and a lot of free movies and TV shows, and you can rent movies on there or buy movies, so it's really, really great. But yeah, so this was free on Amazon Prime. Hellboy, the second one wasn't, but it was actually somewhat low rated, but it was, it's, one of the, like, it's kind of like one of the, I call them, like, off-branch comic book movies. They're from, like, comic book heroes that not as much people know. Like you guys know, DC does most of them, because you guys know Watchmen, V for Vendetta, both of those movies are, like, off-branch, comic book movies, and also Hellboy is. So yeah, but as you guys know, I always love those superheroes. Like, Deadpool's of course my first favorite, then Iron Man, then Batman. So those are still my top 3 and probably always will be. But after that, then it's V for Vendetta, or V I guess, and then Rorschach, and then now Hellboy. The off-branch, I guess DC heroes are just off-branch comic book characters I just absolutely love. So Hellboy, if you have Amazon Prime, it's free. Now I believe it just became free. So yeah, so if you have Amazon Prime, definitely recommend checking that out. That was a pretty good movie. This one, American History X, it's a movie about neo-Nazis. I believe it came out in like 1997 or something like that. But as Edward Norton, which is a very, very talented, great actor. He's also on The Incredible Hulk and Moonrise Kingdom and everything. And then Edward Furlong, and then it just says Some Legacies Must End, and it's basically a movie about neo-Nazis in the current day. But in my vision of a masterpiece formula film, there's been like a few, like Whiplash, La La Land, Hacksaw Ridge, and then like also like Sing Street and everything, and there's a few others, but American History X has actually added to that. American History X is free on Amazon Prime, so I definitely recommend checking that out. It is a very inappropriate movie, so if you are a little bit younger, then probably not for you, but so yeah, but it also had the most, like, not like there's two different types of cringe. There's cringe where it's just someone's being like really weird and you just stop. But there's also cringe when it's just pain, and then you're just like, oh no. So yeah, but basically there was the worst cringe because of pain on this movie of all time. Like, there's this one part where these African people are breaking into his truck, and his son or his brother comes in and wakes him up, and tells him about that, and he goes out there and murders 2 of them, and then the last one, right when the cops show up, he tells him to like put his mouth on the curb, and then I was just like, oh, okay, he's probably just meaning to like rest his face on the curb or whatever, but no, he like actually bites the curb practically. It even adds the sound of his teeth like scraping against the curb, and then he stomps on the back of his head and pretty much splits his head in half, and it was, oh god, it was horrible. But yeah, so that is a very inappropriate movie, but it was very, very good. I absolutely love that movie, and as you guys saw on the thumbnail, I did get it on Blu-ray. I'll show that in a second. Gangs of New York, it's a Martin Scorsese film. I didn't like it as much as I thought I was going to. I think it seemed really long and just kind of you couldn't really attach onto it as well as some other movies, but that's also free on Amazon Prime, so if you do want to see that, or you have Amazon Prime, I would still somewhat recommend it, but I don't really know. The Lego Batman movie, which of course is not on Amazon Prime or Netflix, it's actually still currently in theaters. It just went into theaters on February 21st, I believe, something like that. But usually you guys know I almost always me and Brayton or me and my family or whatever go to see movies that we want to go see in theaters, like on the second day they're in theaters. But for once, we actually went to see this on the day it went into theaters. So I actually really love the poster. I love posters where it just has like all the characters in the movie. The Lego Movie also did that right there. But so yeah, but that was a very good movie. I would say I guess I'll talk about this more on my actual movie review for it. I'm not gonna have a whole separate video, but I will do that later in this video. So I'll talk about that, not really right now, but keep on watching and I will actually do a review on that, since you guys know I do movie reviews on pretty much every movie I go and see in theater, so I'll do that in a few minutes. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, you guys probably all know this one. It's not the remake in 2005, I believe it was, but I actually saw that one quite a while ago. But this one I was actually not expecting. This one's free on Amazon Prime, of course. But I actually like this one a lot better than the 2005 one. This is actually a pretty decent movie. So yeah, so definitely recommend checking that out if you haven't seen it. The Sea of Trees, my mom and dad watched it a few weeks ago, and they said that it was very, very good. But it stars Matthew McConaughey, Naomi Watts, and Ken Watanabe. And it's basically a movie about Aokigahara, if that's how you pronounce it, but the suicide forest in Japan. So there's also The Forest, that horror movie that came out a little while ago, and I did see that too, and that was, I honestly think, like, in the time we're in, probably one of the better horror movies that has been here. But this is not really a horror movie, but it's also from the director of Milk and Good Will Hunting, which is one of my new ones, also Good Will Hunting right there. But yeah, so free on Amazon Prime. It does have some emotional deaths and everything, like with her and everything, but other than that, it's a pretty good movie. I mean, that part was even good too. It's just, if you cry easily and you don't want to cry, then there's that part. But of course I've never even cried at a movie or anything like that. But then Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? If you're a big film person, you probably all know this. A lot of film teachers show it in their class, but yeah, so I watched this. Oh yeah, that one was free on Amazon Prime, if I haven't said that yet. This one, is, I believe, free on Amazon Prime. Yeah, this one's free on Amazon Prime. I don't think it's on Netflix. But yeah, it has George Clooney, John Turturro, Tim Blake Nelson, and John Goodman. But yeah, it's basically about three people who kind of break out of prison and go on an adventure. And then Braveheart, from the director of one of my most favorite movies of all time, Hacksaw Ridge. But that was actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. It's almost exactly 3 hours. But it did not really seem like 3 hours, and it actually stars Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson's the director of, like, Braveheart, The Passion of the Christ, Hacksaw Ridge, all those, but that is actually Mel Gibson right there. Yeah, so a pretty good movie. It's basically just a movie about old warrior from, like, the, like, medieval times, kind of. A Christmas Story. This is one of the movie posters that I hung just because I decided to finally hang it, because, of course, I have seen this a few times, because we've owned it on DVD, I don't even know how long, like, probably like 15 years or so, but it came out in the late 80s, I believe, and pretty much everyone's seen A Christmas Story. I just decided to hang it up, because I was just like, oh, well, that's a really classic movie, and we've owned it on DVD for quite a while, and I'm pretty sure I've seen it like 10 times or so. So yeah, so I just hung that up. Both of these movies, you guys know that I have seen Life of Pi like 4 times or so. The Martian I've seen twice. But I own both of them on DVD, of course, but yeah, so I just decided to hang those both movies up, because I really do like them. They're, really high-rated movies. So Life of Pi and The Martian and Christmas Story, if you haven't seen them, I definitely recommend them. The Christmas Story, I'm not a huge fan of it, but it is a classic and everything. The Nightmare Before Christmas, it's Tim Burton's, one of his most famous movies, along with, like, his Batman movies and everything. But, yeah, so, The Nightmare Before Christmas, this was actually, on Netflix, so this movie's on Netflix. So if you have Netflix, definitely, I don't really recommend this one. Most of you have probably already seen it, but I actually did not like it as much as I thought it was gonna be. Again, like with that movie, I could not really, like, connect with it in any way, and I didn't really like it at all, really, but it was decent, I guess. But on to the next one. This one is on Netflix as well. But yeah, so it's To Kill a Mockingbird, one of the most iconic books of all time. But yeah, so it's in black and white, very old movies from like the 40s, I believe. Maybe early 60s or something like that. I can't really remember, but it was pretty good. It did seem kind of long. But it was decent. I don't really recommend it, but if you do love classic movies, I do love classic movies, but it's just that one wasn't as good as like some of the other ones that I saw, in my opinion. Arrival, I was actually surprised about this one. My movies and culture teacher, just movie teacher at Great Falls High, he said that was actually like a masterpiece film and everything. And I was actually not expecting myself to think it's a masterpiece film, but I actually did. I actually didn't even see it. But then you guys know I work for the Great Falls Tribune, and I basically just asked if I could have a movie or a DVD review. So I went to Target the next day and got it on DVD, and it was on sale for $15. Yeah, it stars Amy Adams, Jeremy Renner, and Forest Whitaker, but it's very good. It's not like your basic sci-fi movie, and it's actually a very good movie. So if you have not seen Arrival, I definitely recommend that. It is actually kind of a masterpiece movie, but I just, like, it really, like, kind of made your, like, brain feel pulsing and everything, but it was actually a movie that made you really think and everything. So, yeah, but I will show that. Of course, I got that on DVD, so I'll show you guys that in a second. Also, Jeremiah Johnson. It came out in 1972 and stars Robert Redford, but this was actually one of the many movies we've watched in social studies, or actually the first semester we had world history, which we watched a few movies, which I don't have any posters up for those. But for Montana history, so far we've watched Jeremiah Johnson, one other movie that I can't remember, and then Dances with Wolves, which I'll show in a second. But this one, I honestly think the editing was absolutely just horrible, and I didn't really like this one that much, but it was okay, but it was just kind of a weird movie. But it's of course a movie about Montana, and that actually took place in Montana, so I was actually pretty excited about that. They didn't film it in Montana for some reason, but they didn't even film this one in Montana. It's based about Montana's history, and they didn't even film in Montana. So, but that's not on Netflix or Amazon Prime. But if you do get a chance, I guess I would watch it, but I don't know how much you'll enjoy it. But anyway, moving on, Good Will Hunting. I actually liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to. I thought it was going to be, like, boring, but it was actually a pretty good movie. I was pretty entertained up throughout all of it. And I can't remember if this was free on Amazon Prime or Netflix, but one of those two. But either way, this is on Netflix or Amazon Prime. I believe it was Netflix, but it might have been Amazon Prime. But it stars Robin Williams and Matt Damon, and also has Ben Affleck in it when he was younger. As you can see right there, it says Ben Affleck and a few other people. But yeah, so that's actually a very good movie. Also, definitely recommend that. Grease, I believe this is on Netflix. I can't really remember with either of these two, but I believe that was on Netflix. It might have been on Amazon Prime too, but I don't really know. But Grease, you guys probably all know that. I actually did not like it as much as I thought it was gonna. But it stars John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, but it was okay. I just don't know if I could watch it more than twice throughout my life, honestly. But getting towards the end here, The Usual Suspects. I believe it's the 25th highest rated movie of all time, and I even realized this one's on Netflix. But I didn't even realize. I was just like, oh, The Usual Suspects. I recognize that from IMDb's top rated movies list, and it turns out it's 25th. So I was just like, okay, I'm watching that. 25th highest rated movie of all time, but has a few other actors in it, but the one that most of you will probably know, Kevin Spacey. But that was a pretty good movie. I definitely do like the, kind of Black Ops feel to it towards the end, but the ending, with the, secrets being revealed and everything, and just, how, secretive, and just the ending was within my top 10 favorite movie endings of all time. It was spectacular towards the ending. Yeah, so that's on Netflix. Definitely recommend that one. Superman the movie. I just thought since I watched Batman the movie, I would watch this. So this is the very first original Superman movie of all time. I know there's a show before it, but this was the first movie. So Superman the movie. It actually has one of my favorite actors of all time. He was in The Godfather and Superman the movie, and a few other movies. Marlon Brando on the Waterfront, also one of my favorite ones with him in it. He actually plays, Marlon Brando actually plays Superman's dad in here, which I didn't know until I was watching it. So it is the original Superman movie. It was okay, but I did like it better than Man of Steel, but he's probably my favorite Superman so far, honestly, somehow. But so that's on Netflix if you want to watch it. Okay, but they pretty much have every Superman movie except for Batman v Superman and Man of Steel and everything on there. But all the originals and Superman Returns, Batman the movie, the very first original Batman movie. I know there's a show before this, and this was the movie of, like, the show, pretty much. The Adam West Batman and Burt Ward Robin. But basically, this is also, I do have to say this is my most favorite movie poster of all time. Like, out of all the movie posters in the world, I don't know why, but this one is just my favorite. Like, it has all the stuff you could want. Like, it's got the really iconic shark on Batman's leg scene right there, if you can kind of see that, attached to the Batcopter, and then you got the Batmobile right there, the title right there, and then Robin, Batman, all 4 of the villains that are in this movie, the Penguin, the Riddler, Joker, and Catwoman, and then the Bat Signal. So, and also the colors are just so vibrant and everything, and it just says Batman the movie right there, and then all the stars and everything. But that is on Netflix, which I was pretty surprised about when I saw it, so I watched it right away pretty much. But that's on Netflix. Definitely recommend that. It was actually, I thought it was just gonna be like some weird, dumb kind of thing, but it was actually a pretty good movie. So yeah, so definitely recommend that. This one is also on Netflix, An American Werewolf in London. It's one of the highest rated horror movies of all time, I would say. But now it's only my 3rd horror movie that I have a poster up for, but that one was pretty good. I think it could have been, some time could have been cut off of it. It did kind of get long a little bit, but but I believe it's my, the film teacher, or the film class teacher at, Great Falls High, Mr. Wiles, I believe he said that was one of his, most favorite movies of all time. I can't remember if it was if one of his favorite horror movies of all time, or one of his favorite movies of all time, but, yeah, so that is pretty good. It's decent. I think it could have been a little bit better, but it was pretty okay. But yeah, so that's on Netflix. So if you want to watch a pretty good horror movie, then there you go. Superbad. This is actually this one is actually, can't remember if it was on Netflix or Amazon Prime, but it's on one of them. But this is actually my first like full on like meant to be comedy movie. That's just really, like, inappropriate and everything. So it is very inappropriate. If you're younger, then this one, again, is probably not for you. But, other than that, it is a very, very good movie. I was actually really surprised. Like, I do have to say, this is actually my favorite comedy movie of all time. Like, you can say, like, well, what about the Lego Movie and everything? But those are, like, meant to be family movies and comedy movies and everything. But this is just meant to be a like, messed up, inappropriate comedy movie. Of course, Jonah Hill, Michael Cera, which also did the voice for Robin on the Lego Batman movie, and was Scott Pilgrim vs. the World and everything, but also has a few other actors that you'll know. But yeah, so that is on, I believe, one of them, Netflix or Amazon Prime. But if you have not seen that, I actually recommend it. It's my favorite comedy movie of all time. Titanic, again, I have already seen this before. I've seen it once before, when it was on Netflix. I actually believe it's still on Netflix, so if it is, you can watch this. But yeah, so that's a very good movie. I just realized that I watched that a few weeks ago. I realized that I watched that a couple years ago or whatever it was, so I decided to hang up a poster for that. But yeah, Ex Machina, that is free on Amazon Prime, and that was okay movie. Like, towards the end, I really loved the end, and it was pretty terrifying towards the end, but that was a pretty good movie. But I mean, it was pretty darn boring other than the ending, so I don't really recommend that one. It was not as good as I thought it was going to be. But yeah, so moving on, Boyhood, I actually saw that twice before, a couple years ago, the year it came out. I remember we rented it back when Hastings was still open, pretty much like the day it came out on DVD. But yeah, so I watched that twice when we rented it, and it's actually on Netflix. So not only have I seen this before, but this one is actually on Netflix. So if you want to watch this, it is a very good movie. It was actually filmed over 12 years, as you can see there, but it's just basically about that boy's life and everything. But that is a very good movie. Begin Again is actually from the director of one of my most favorite movies of all time that came out this year. That's also on Netflix right now, Sing Street. I can't remember his name, but he also directed Sing Street. But now, the year before, or 2 years before Sing Street came out in 2014, Sing Street came out in 2016, but, John Carney, that's the director's name, but he also directed once, so those are, like, the 3 main movies that he's directed. But this one stars, Mark Ruffalo and Keira Knightley, and also has Haley, Springfield, Adam Levine, which is the leader of Maroon 5, if you don't know, James Corden, which is, like, the Late Show guy, and everything. But, yeah, that was Sing Street and Begin Again. Like, I recommended that to my mom and dad. They watched it and they really loved it also. But just like John Carney, I haven't seen once, but I've seen his other 2 movies that he's directed, Begin Again and Sing Street, of course. I own Sing Street on DVD and also, yes, but they're just like, if you haven't seen them, they're just really, really like happy feeling, really just like, they make you like feel good and everything, but it's just, they're really, really good, feel good movies and everything. So if you're kind of down in the dumps or whatever, I definitely recommend John Carney's movies. But that was very, very good. It had some good music in it and everything, but that was a very good movie. If you don't know who else Mark Ruffalo plays, he plays Hulk on the Marvel Cinematic Universe and a few other things. Dances with Wolves, this was my favorite movie that we've actually watched. So yeah, so this is actually my favorite movie that we've watched all year out of all social studies this year, out of both like course things. But yeah, but this one was actually, it has lots of humor in it, and it was actually pretty darn funny throughout it. As you can see, it actually won 7 Oscars, including Best Picture when it came out. I believe it came out in 2000 or something like, or no, not 2000. It came out in 1990, I believe. But it stars Kevin Costner. But yeah, it's basically another movie about kind of Montana and around Montana. Of course, it wasn't filmed in Montana, but that doesn't really matter because, of course, this one's not completely about Montana. Yeah, so that one's very good. It's not on Netflix or Amazon Prime, sadly. And Battle for Sevastopol is the last one so far for this video anyway. Yeah, so it's basically based on a true story about, like, a very, very good woman sniper during World War II from Russia, or Sevastopol. It's basically about, like, the Battle of Sevastopol and everything. You can see the planes in the background and then the main girl right there. So, it's one of the best true story World War II movies, I think, along with Hacksaw Ridge. Yeah, so I think it was almost exactly 2 hours, I believe, and I think they could have cut like half an hour or so off of it. I think it could have done perfectly fine, like as an hour and 40-minute movie or so, but other than that, it was pretty good. My dad said that there wasn't much subtitles, but he actually, like, there was more subtitles than he told me. But that one is actually on Amazon Prime for free. Yeah, so it is a full-on foreign film. So now I've seen 2 foreign films. Sing Street, which you can still perfectly understand. It's just in Dublin, Ireland. But this one is in full-on Russian. So the only times there's actually people speaking American and not subtitles is of probably, like, I would say about 6 minutes throughout the whole movie. I believe I do know what will be going down there, and then my first poster up there. I'm planning tonight and tomorrow, or maybe even both tonight. I'm planning to rent the last 2 movies out of all the Oscar nominations. My first semester got done, I got done with movies and culture, so now I'm in multimedia, which is like Photoshop and all that. This was actually the first picture I did with instructions. It just says Mezzo Forte and has some other stuff. It's pretty cool, but you follow instructions, but got like an A+ on that. Also, I got these 3 Hot Wheels cars, like a Tesla Roadster and everything, out of my Hot Wheels collection, and basically just put those up for some new car models. That's my updated car collection real quick right there. But anyway, back to this. This is my favorite Photoshop picture I made today. I actually finished one today, which is like a liquefied Andrew Garfield and then like a funky little snowman that we had to do. Like, both of those had instructions and everything too. But this one was our first like free play one, and it took me so long to figure out how to like save them so I could actually bring them home and like print them and everything. But I finally managed to do it after 3 tries, and I finally did it. So this one's basically Deadpool Land, if you can kind of read that on the sign. But basically we just had to put like a few items on a background and make them look like they're actually there. So I made like a postcard thing, and I put "Wish You Were Here," and then I put my favorite plane, which I have a model of right there. And it's actually my favorite plane of all time that they used during the Cold War. They don't use it anymore, but they used it on Deadpool. They actually used it for the X-Jet. And if you guys don't know, it's the SR-71 Blackbird. So since it's my favorite plane, it's the X-Jet, I put it right there. And then Earth I put right there, and I even gave that a shadow behind there, and then a shadow for the jet. And then that's a background I chose, and I put a unicorn, Deadpool's like favorite animal, and that actually somewhat looks like it's there. You can see I put his foot, so it's actually in the water and everything, and his shadow and all that. And then Hello Kitty, his favorite, Deadpool's kind of favorite cartoon or whatever, and I put the shadow for her right there, and then Hello Kitty, and it actually kind of looks like she's standing on the bridge. And then right here I put a little comical thing, a kind of a 3D looking caption bubble that just says like his little thing, and like making fun of like the classical Batman theme song, like the no Batman, but it says no Deadpool. So yeah, but basically I just put it so there's a little like ocean buoy or whatever, and I made it so it looks like it's actually in the water. And then I put Deadpool like at the beginning of, or towards the beginning of the Deadpool movie, where he's actually like sitting on the bridge coloring a picture, and I put that same thing, but this time he's actually sitting on a buoy, and I actually put his legs in the water and everything right there, so it looks pretty realistic and pretty good. So I'm happy I finally got both of those pictures, and I will be making some more, of course, as this semester goes on, so I'll show those as they go. I'm not gonna like print out all of them, but some of my most favorite ones. But moving on to my updated movie collection right here. So of course you guys can see that I have room for one more movie. So of course, as I just said, that will probably be the last movie for these 4 shelves will probably be Doctor Strange, since that will probably be the next movie I'll be purchasing. So I'll just go right there, since this is my Marvel movies, like right here to right here. Yeah, so that will be the last movie, and I'm actually not going to move up. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to finish these 4 shelves. So what I'm planning to do now is maybe put like a few movies like from here to like here, and then carry on to those shelves. So like I'll have my movie memorabilia section, and then my movies going up there, and then my movies right there. So yeah, but that's what I'm planning to do so far. But basically my new movies is, of course, Arrival, like that I was just talking about a few minutes ago. I got it on DVD for a review, and here it is, basically just regular DVD. It didn't even come with a digital HD, which I don't care about those at all anyway. I just give them to my big brother, but front cover looks very awesome. Like, it looks kind of cliched, but usually you don't see that big of a, like, wide open shot in the background, so I really do love that. And then there's the back, so really happy that I got that on DVD. Very great movie. So that's all for this shelf and that shelf, of course. But the last 2 movies that I got are on this shelf. So first off, when I went to go buy that, I saw that for like the $5 Blu-rays, they actually had American History X. So I actually watched this the night before the 21 Pilots concert, so almost a month ago now. Yeah, American History X on just regular old Blu-ray, but this is only $5, so I had to get it like a masterpiece movie for $5. So I was really happy that I found this. So I got Arrival and American History X. But of course, the last movie came out this past Tuesday, Hacksaw Ridge. So I actually pre-ordered it. I didn't tell you guys, but I actually pre-ordered it on Amazon about a month and a half ago on DVD for $20 and free shipping since I have Amazon Prime. But then all of a sudden, I guess on Blu-ray, DVD, and digital HD was also $20. So like, I canceled that order and pre-ordered this one about a week and a half ago or so, because why get DVD when you can get Blu-ray, DVD, and digital HD for the same price? But yeah, so Hacksaw Ridge, I got it on Blu-ray, DVD, and digital HD. Of course, my dad and I just went to go see it in theaters, so my mom's been really wanting to see it, and now my mom and I went to go see La La Land in theaters, as you guys knew from when I did my review on it on the movies episode. A month and a half ago or so, a little while ago. So now my dad wants to see La La Land. So my mom said that, usually I buy all like my own movies nowadays, but my mom said that she actually loved La La Land, so she'll probably buy that and keep that up in her room. So if I did get it, I'd probably get it on Blu-ray, and I would keep it next to Whiplash, since they're both directed by Damien Chazelle, and they're his first 2 like big movies and everything. But we're probably gonna keep that on upstairs, but that's for the future to decide, of course. But yeah, Hacksaw Ridge, I definitely love this movie, this box cover. Did come with slip covers, which I love. Yeah, but definitely one of my favorite movie boxes of all time. The back is even just really, really awesome as well. And it's got special features and some exclusive to Blu-ray special features. Yeah, but underneath it's pretty much the exact same. But yeah, Hacksaw Ridge, as you guys know, this is like I believe it's within my top 5 movies of all time, currently, so very happy I got this. My mom loved it. We watched it on Blu-ray upstairs, all together, my dad, my mom, and I, and she loved it. So she finally got to see it, and I got to see it again. It was just as good as it was in theaters. Absolutely spectacular movie. Yeah, so those are my 3 new movies that I purchased on physical media anyway. So yes, that is my updated movie collection. So I will update you guys on that as that goes by. But now one of the last things I have to show in this video is my updated movie memorabilia section. So first off, I forgot that I had this in my I actually have a very big trading card collection, which is right there, and this was actually like my favorite one. I forgot that I had it, but if you guys can probably see it a little better if I zoom in. But is actually a mini version of it's not the first Iron Man comic book, but it's one of the first, and it's actually the Invincible Iron Man. And it's even, like, you can see it's got that really nice metallic finish to it. And then, of course, you guys can't really see it, but these little, like, bolts or whatever you want to call them around the edges, they actually pop out a little bit, and you can actually feel them. But I put that next to my other comic book covers, the first ever Batman one right there, and then the Infinity Gauntlet, my favorite comic book cover of all time. So yeah, so that looks really awesome back there. And then, I don't know how, but I completely forgot that I had this, like, an exact replica of the Mockingjay pin from the Hunger Games movies, and it's just been sitting on my lamp. You can even see a little outline in the dust right there. So I took that off my lamp, I just kept that there, but I moved that over here, because, I mean, that's a very iconic and really awesome movie replica, so I remembered that and just put it next to my custom Two-Face The Dark Knight coin. So that's it for this shelf, but up here is new, of course. So yeah, so all that stuff is updated over there too, but this is basically some more custom stuff that I made. Of course, that's my only, like, really custom movie replica so far, because those aren't really, like, movie replicas, just kind of like Lego things that I built. But these ones are even more that I made. If you guys don't know what this is right there, that is actually from Blade Runner, and it's a MetroCab controlled credit card, or MetroCab smart card from Blade Runner. I've never seen it, but it's a pretty classic movie. It stars Harrison Ford, and Blade Runner 2048 starring Harrison Ford, and Ryan Gosling's coming out pretty soon. So yeah, but that is that. And then over that, I hung up this. You would have saw that little video clip towards the beginning of this episode, where I showed, like, a little cardboard cutout how I accidentally made, like, a little Batman signal, and I was saying that I was making a Batman movie prop, and I actually did that. That is the movie prop that I was talking about. So yeah, so it's a replica of the Batman Batflick, which, if you guys don't know, it's Ben Affleck's Batman from, like, Batman v Superman, and soon to be, he was also made some cameos on Suicide Squad, and then soon to be Justice League, and from there on. But yeah, so that turned out really well. I basically just cut out some cardboard to make it more thick and everything, pop off the wall, and hung it over that corner of that MetroCab card a little bit right there. But yeah, so as you can see, I did some shading. It looks very 3D and really awesome. That's my favorite Batarang and Bat logo that has ever been there so far, and that I actually made a while ago. If you guys don't know, I actually taped nickels to both sides of that to make it heavier, and I actually had it sitting, like, right here, whatever, for, like, in my blade collection stuff. But I took those nickels off, and I cracked it in half when I tried throwing it at a corkboard one time. So basically I just taped that, which you can't even see at all, and I took the nickels off and basically just recolored it and everything. So now it's just, I got, like, the Batarang from, like, the Dark Knight trilogy and the new Batman Batarang. And then this, if you guys have not seen one of the best horror movies of all time, The Shining, this is actually one of, this is actually, like, the main replica you can make from that. But this is actually the little key from The Shining, which is, like, the main room from it is room number 237. So yeah, so if you guys probably will only know what that is right off the bat without me even telling you, if you guys have seen The Shining. But yeah, so I actually looked at a picture, and that is actually even the exact cutout of the key from the movie. So yeah, but then I just basically added a few of these extra metal rings. So I took one of those, took this little, like, foam stuff that my mom had, and taped it right there and right there on the back side for more support to keep it up. And I put room number 237. I basically took some charcoal and everything for my art kit thing down there. But yeah, and I basically just tattered it up a little bit. And then this I've had for a while, but I took it back out and actually glued that so they would stay in position and make it look a lot nicer. But I do put some video game things up, of course. And one of my favorite video games still is, of course, Minecraft. So I put my little TNT block with my little Steve carrying his stone pickaxe and the dog. So that looks pretty epic now, actually. And then I put my little plush Angry Bird that I've had for quite a while. But this is my main movie replica that I made, and probably gonna be my coolest one for quite a while, if not ever. But as you guys know, I made these little Lego stands also for my custom Brennan World YouTube plaque right there, but I used them for this. Like, it could stand up by itself, but just for some more support and everything, I did that. So this actually took me, I believe, the longest out of all my wood making projects, because I've made quite a few, of course, like that and that and that and that and all that stuff. But this one took me a while because what I did is I had to cut out a plank for the background, and then I spray painted that the next day, and I also had to sand it, of course. And then I cut out, and then I drew the outline and then cut that out with an X-Acto knife, and then cut out some cardboard to make it pop a little bit more. And then I had to draw that also along with the cardboard again. And then I had to draw these in no cardboard so it wouldn't pop out as much. But if you guys don't know what this is, it is the flux capacitor, like the most iconic thing from the Back to the trilogy, or the Back to the Future trilogy. It's basically like pretty much like the battery or what enables time traveling on the for the DeLorean time machine on Back to the Future. But basically right there it is an exact replica pretty much, so it just says shield eyes from light right there, and then right there it says disconnect capacitor drive before opening. But basically to make it look more 3D, like that's actually inside, because if you guys don't know, like this whole part on the movie is actually like a door that you can open and everything, and then that's like behind the glass. So to make it look like it's actually behind glass without actually putting glass, I put that just on the wood, but then the parts that was supposed to be above the glass, I put on top of the cardboard. So as you can see, those two parts right there are popping out farther than that, and I even put that on top of that with some wood glue and tape and everything. Yeah, so those were pretty good. As you can see, I did do some shading on each of those, so those look really 3D as well. But as you can see, I can't really show it on camera, but you might be able to see it a little bit. But it does look like those are actually like in it, and then those are actually popping out more, because that's like supposed to be like a little, whoops, that's supposed to be like a little label like on top of the glass and everything, but I actually just kind of bumped it. There we go, now it's all fixed. Yeah, so that is my updated movie memorabilia section. So I haven't made it, of course. I actually made all this stuff. I've had those two things, and I just glued that and everything, but like, and that I made a while ago, but that, and that, I actually made those pretty much over like 3 days, I think, in all. But I actually made those about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I did make those quite a while ago, but I'm just now getting around to showing them. But, yeah, so that is that. So hopefully you guys like all those new things. You would have saw those on the thumbnail, but my movie memorabilia section is looking just spectacular. I love it. But now, since it's actually bigger, what I was talking about with the Lego Batman movie, and also the last thing I have to do for this episode, is actually do my review on that. So from now on, I'm actually going to do a movie, when I do movie reviews, I'm still not going to make like full separate episodes like the Lego Batman movie review as a whole separate episode. But what I'm going to do now is I always do like movie reviews like during day vlogs and whatever. So now I'm actually going to set my camera up on a tripod, and then I'm going to stand right there and then do reviews on it. So it'll actually be like the regular movie reviewers, like the Flick Pick and everything. They have like their movie memorabilia section and their movie collection and everything in the background. So I'm actually going to set up my tripod like right about here, and then I'll have it set up like right about there so it can get a fair amount of my movie memorabilia section and some of my movie collection. And of course my movie collection will be extending onto there and there pretty darn soon, of course. But as of right now, I am going to do like my first movie review with this in the background, but I'm not going to set it all up on a tripod and everything right now. But I'm basically just going to stand here, and this will basically be what it will look like right here. Of course, like I'll be able to stand like right about here, and the tripod will be like right about here. But yeah, so I'll just do this. I don't know how well this looks, but of course when I set it up on a tripod, it will look a lot better. But basically this is how it's going to be. So I'll just do a quick little review on the Lego Batman movie. First off, I did not like it as much as the Lego Batman, or the Lego movie. But yeah, it's if you guys have seen the trailer for the Lego Ninjago movie, you guys know the Lego Ninjago used to be my favorite show. But the Lego Ninjago movie, I love all the Lego movies, but the Ninjago movie looks horrible. Like, everyone just, like, the animation, I don't know why, but on the Lego movies, I just love the animation. Like, out of any cartoon or a cartoon movie or anything I've ever seen, if you guys have seen the Lego movie and the Lego Batman movie, and soon to be the Lego Ninjago movie and the Lego movie 2, I don't know why, but I just love the animation. I just love the lights and the shading and everything. But yeah, so the Lego Batman movie I liked just under the Lego movie. It wasn't as good, as you guys know. It's already 0.1% or 0.1 score lower than the Lego movie on IMDb. The Lego Batman movie currently is sitting at a 7.6, and the Lego movie is currently sitting at a 7.7. But yeah, so it wasn't as good as the Lego movie in my opinion, but I still definitely recommend it. It's still in theaters all around the world right now as I speak. And yeah, but it was a very good movie. I did do a review on it in the paper like I do with pretty much all movies I go and see in theaters. But I'm doing it on here now. So I did actually go see it on the release day, so about 2 or 3 weeks ago, something like that. But it was a very good movie. I do love, there's a lot of Suicide Squad movie roasting in it. I definitely did love that, and there's a lot of good Easter eggs and everything. There's an Easter egg to the Fox Force 5 from Pulp Fiction, and lots of Suicide Squad roasts, and just I will say the humor was more mature than it was on the Lego Movie. Like some of it's a lot harder to get for little kids and stuff. But I definitely, on the Lego Movie, or the Lego Batman movie, I did like the humor on the Lego Batman movie better than the Lego Movie. So that's one plus. And the other thing I did love is the references I liked a lot better than on the Lego Movie. So for like pop culture references, other just all references, and like Easter eggs and humor, that part, all that stuff is definitely better than the Lego Movie in my opinion. And also, I believe, I kind of like the final battle better, how they brought in, like, classical film enemies from, like, classical films, like King Kong and The Lord of the Rings and all that stuff. I definitely did like how they brought that in, so I did like the final battle better than the Lego Movie also, so those parts I did like better, but other than that, I pretty much like the Lego Movie better. Yeah, so we'll just have to see how the Lego Movie 2 is, and I'll go see that in theaters like the Lego Movie and the Lego Batman movie as well. But the Lego Ninjago movie, I'm not going to go in theaters. I'll probably just rent it on Amazon Prime when it comes out, but I do not care for that movie. So yeah, so that is my review on the Lego Batman movie. Definitely recommend it. Yeah, so that's pretty much how the reviews are going to be filmed. But basically, I was just a little test run or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so that is my updated movie memorabilia section, and my review on the Lego Batman movie. So definitely recommend it. Pretty good movie. So the last thing I need to do on this video is just okay guys, so to finish off this episode, I have one last thing to show, which you would have saw in the thumbnail, so if you're still watching till now, you guys will know what that is. And basically, it is this. So this is like my favorite angle at it. Anyway, but basically, if you don't know what this is, they're very popular right now for people that like have anxiety or whatever. And as you guys know, like I have been diagnosed. I know there's some people that are just like, oh, I think I have anxiety. Oh, I think I have OCD. I need to fix my hair after I get out of the shower. That's not that. If you guys don't know, people that actually have it and have been diagnosed by their psychiatrists or doctors or whatever hate when people just like self-diagnose and everything. And but I've actually been like actual diagnosed with OCD, ADD, depression, and anxiety, which kind of comes along with ADD and everything. So as you guys know, I still somewhat do have a major problem with chewing and picking at my fingernails and and it did get a lot worse, and I have made them like start like really dripping blood and stuff before, but they look decent right now, and you can see that these 3 fingernails look amazing. I will do a video pretty darn soon once I actually fully quit this, but one of my main goal for 2017 was to quit with all that stuff. Was chewing my fingernails and all that, and I am doing amazing right now, but these 3 fingernails are like the only ones growing back, but so far I have taken a picture of like before, so I will do an after picture once they all grow back perfectly and everything, and my skin heals pretty well, yeah, these 2 are somewhat growing back as well, yeah, so basically I did get a video clip for that already, because these 3 same exact fingernails grew like really long, and I could like bend them and everything, and these ones I can actually bend somewhat right now, so I will probably cut these like pretty darn soon. But I actually filmed a little video clip of me doing my first few fingernail clips in literally about 6 years. Like, it was about 6 years ago. I used to like suck my thumb and like hold onto a blanket wherever I went pretty much, and once I finally quit that, or actually it was longer than 6 years ago, it was about a decade ago, because of course I'm 15 and I quit when I was about 5 or 6. But once I quit that, I pretty much went straight to chewing my nails. So pretty much ever since about 2008 or so, I have been addicted to that and everything. But I'm actually finally getting off, so I filmed myself clipping my nails for the first time in almost a decade. So that video hopefully will be out in less than a month or so. I just gotta keep on messing with my fidget cube and hopefully just completely overall quit with my fingers and everything. But once I do, that video will be out, and that'll be a very special video to me. because it's something I've been trying to quit since like a decade ago or so. But basically it has this little lanyard, and it's a fidget cube, and I've been wanting one ever since I saw a little video on it for Facebook. Saw it on Facebook. I thought it was kind of overpriced. It was like 20 bucks or something. But this was still $20, so it's pretty much $20 either way. But my dad showed up one day, I would say about a week and a half ago or so. I believe it was last Monday, or something like that. And they basically went to Amazing Toys because he got these at Amazing Toys in Great Falls from large request and everything. And yeah, so my little brother got one for some reason. He doesn't really mess with his hands or anything, but I guess he just got one because I got one or something. But yeah, my dad got one for Brayton and I. But my dad gave me this one since I actually use it at school a lot, so I don't drop it. And it's just a lanyard that you can connect or deconnect if you don't want it on there. But basically, so you can just hold it like that. So then, like in school, I basically just hold it, and like it is kind of loud. So basically, I just use the quiet ones, which are like that, somewhat this, and then like kind of this too. And then this little ball was what I use the most in school and everything. But basically, just to show it real quick, I got a black and red one, which is like my favorite one I've seen so far. But basically, it has this, which is like a light switch that you can just kind of do like that, and of course if you do it a special way it doesn't make as much noise like that. And then this little thing which is spinning, it's basically just has that little divot thing right there. You can basically just spin it. This is supposed to imitate like a rubbing stone or whatever, or whirring stone, whatever they call it, and you just basically like kind of rub it or whatever. These are kind of buttons. It looks like a dice on this side, and you basically just press them and they kind of feel like buttons on a remote or whatever. This is kind of like a joystick on an Xbox that actually spins, so it doesn't spin like on Xbox and PlayStation controllers and everything. It doesn't spin, but I mean, it does go around and round like that, but it also spins, which you can't really see. But yeah, and then it also presses down like a button. I call it my tactical nuke button. But then one of my favorite things is a ball. It's basically just a metal ball that spins just every which way you want it to. And one of my favorite things that imitates it the best, if you guys don't know what picking at your fingers or whatever feels like, this imitates it exactly. Like, it makes clicking noises, and you can also just go like this and roll them. There's 3 of them. I think some of them are louder than the other ones. I think it's like loud, medium, or like large, medium, small for like sound. But basically, you can say that they have these little ridges on them, and if you just go like that with your fingernails, it just does that, and it feels exactly like picking at your fingernails. So like, I think that will definitely help me quit right there. Like, just, that feels exactly like it. It's weird. But yeah, so this I think will definitely help me. I've been using it for a few days, pretty much a week and a half or so since I got it. And ever since then, it has been working a lot better. I used to use this little green coin that I got from St. Patrick's Day quite a few years ago. And I would just basically like twiddle it up and down in between my fingers. And that worked pretty well for when I used that over a couple of weeks. But this works much better. So if you have any of those disorders and have been medically diagnosed, not self-diagnosed, but if you do have any of those and you mess with your hands a lot or anything, definitely recommend this. A lot of my friends and other people have been asking to try this out and everything, and I'll let them, so I've let like 2 kids or whatever borrow it for like the period or whatever, like in science or whatever, but pretty much I usually just keep it and let some people see it if they want to real quick. But yeah, so definitely recommend it. I've been using it at school pretty much every day since I got it. But that was the last thing I had to show in this video, so I'll go put that back in my backpack now.